Today I'll be comparing, in my opinion, what are the 5 best Twitter applications for the Mac, and I'm going to be doing this in 3 categories. The first one is interface, the second one is features, and the third one is performance. So I'm just going to get right into it so I don't waste any time. Round 1 is interface, and here's the first application. It's called Tweetie. A lot of you guys probably use it. And as you can see, it has a very elegant interface and it goes well with the Mac OS. You can easily access the people you follow, @replies, direct messages, and a search option. And the direct messages, I really like how they're displayed, kind of like a conversation. And I really like the animations when you switch between views. What I don't like is the size of the window. It's pretty wide and I don't like to have Twitter applications take up that much horizontal space on my screen. Also, to make a new tweet, you have to actually click the icon at the bottom. Or Command N. There's no text input field contained in the window. Another cool interface feature is the continuous scrolling. So if I scroll to the bottom here, it will actually load more tweets so I can keep scrolling. The next client I have here is called Beak. Now this one most of you probably aren't familiar with. It is in beta, you can download it though. And I really like the interface of this application. As you can see, you can easily get to your tweets, mentions, messages, favorites, search, and statistics. It's not too cluttered. It's, again, pretty Mac-like. I like the icons. The messages aren't laid out as nicely as Tweetie because they don't have them in a format where you can, it's organized, but it's not bad, and I really don't see any problems with it. And for me, the window size is perfect. Here I have Bluebird, another Twitter application that a lot of people aren't really familiar with. It's pretty new, and its interface isn't as nice as Beak and Tweetie, but it's not ugly or anything. It's just very simplistic. And the really cool thing about its interface is you can change the theme. So this is a theme that I have here. I think this is the default theme. I'm not entirely sure, but this theme looks a little more like Tweetie. Again, it's easy to change your views to get to your @replies and direct messages. I really like the way direct messages are displayed in Bluebird because, like in Tweetie, it's categorized by the user, and you can click on it and view everything kind of like a conversation, like this. Twirl has a pretty unique interface. It's not very Mac-like, I guess you could say, but it's not ugly at all. At the bottom, again, you can go through your replies, direct messages, archive. There's a couple more features here, but I'm going over that in the next part of this video. I don't really like how the buttons are really small. It doesn't have the best interface. Compared to the other applications, it's not as nice looking. But you can actually change the font and the opacity of the window, which is nice to make it look a little nicer. And this is TweetDeck. TweetDeck is really nice if you want to see all the different types of tweets next to each other, like all your friends and your mentions, your direct messages next to each other instead of having to switch between the views. The problem with that is that it makes the window really big. So this is good for hardcore tweeters. You can add a lot of stuff here in these columns. It's a little cluttered with all these buttons, not too bad. And if you want to make it less ugly, you can change the color scheme and the font of it, so that's good. But I really don't think that it looks nice compared to the other clients. The next part of the video is all about the features that these clients have to offer. I'm starting with Tweetie. I already showed you the different views that you can go through. If you click on an icon, for example, Winston C., good friend of mine on YouTube, you can view all of his tweets. You can click on the @replies button, see the tweets that he's actually mentioned you in. You can see his favorite tweets and some information about him, like how many updates he has. From there, you can also, reply or direct message. a really nice feature that I like is it actually shows you at the top, like navigation wise, what you're doing. So I went from the timeline to Winston C, and if I click on my name here, timeline, Winston C, iTalk Apple, and if I click on timeline, it'll go back to timeline. So Tweety, of course, has the basic reply direct message. It doesn't have a retweet option as far as I know. If I make a new tweet, I can shorten a URL or add an image, and if I go into preferences, you can change the font size and URL shortening service and your image service. Tweet also supports multiple accounts, and there's a few other options that you can change. Beak's laid out a little differently for the features. When you see a tweet, you can hover over it and you can favorite it, retweet it, reply, of course, direct message, you know, the basic things. But it also has a cool feature, stats. So if you post a link, it'll pretty much give you the statistics for that link, like probably how many people clicked on it, something like that. I haven't tried it yet, so I'm not quite sure how it works. And if I go to preferences, Beak really doesn't have too many. It's just preferences for Growl notifications. And most of the Twitter clients support Growl notifications. Bluebird has, you know, the basic features like every other one, but it does not have a search feature though. It's coming soon. It's still in development. It's got a cool feature called the Profile Inspector. If you click that, I can search someone, for example, the Macintosh one. So it'll give me a little profile like following, followers, updates. And I can actually view all her tweets and her recent replies to me along with her favorites. Bluebird has a lot of preferences compared to some of the other Twitter applications, so you can really change a lot about the application. So it has general options, it supports multiple accounts. There are several themes you can choose from. You can just Google Bluebird themes and there's lots of downloads. And to install them, you just double click the file. And as you can see, I have a few here. And another nice feature are all the sound customization options that you have. So when you first get it, there's specific sounds for direct messages and replies and stuff, but you can actually change them to any OS X sound. TweetDeck definitely has the most features. I don't even know what a lot of them are, like 12 seconds and TwitScoop, but obviously there's lots of options for the display. There's even a TweetDeck recommends thing, and at the bottom you can show what's popular in the specific column. So when you do that, it'll come up with popular hashtags. You just get several options besides the ones that are expected, like replying, direct messaging, and retweeting. And it has tons of settings for general settings, color, so you can change the color scheme and the font. And a really nice feature is the Twitter API settings, so you can change how much of the Twitter API limit you want to use. It also supports multiple accounts. So TweetDeck definitely has tons of options if that's what you're looking for in your Twitter client. Back to Twirl, it has a lot of options as well. It's easy to post an image by clicking this button and shorten a URL. When you hover over someone's icon, you get the @reply option, direct message, favorite, or retweeting. And it's got some settings as well, so your general settings, you can even change your retweet format, so you can make it say RT, retweeting, or forward, depending on what you like. And there's some visual options like opacity and font, and notification options. And just like TweetDeck, it does have Twitter API usage options. Final part of this video is about performance, because that's definitely important. I hate when my Twitter clients go down, or if I start getting errors, things like that. All I really have to say is that it depends from case to case, like it varies how well the application works. As you can see, bad request rate limit exceeded. That means that I've gone over the limit for the number of tweets you can get per hour, I think it is. But A lot of times I'll get this little warning sign and it'll just say null, and I don't know what that means. So Tweety a lot of times can't receive tweets for a bit, so that could be a problem for some people. TweetDeck is really nice because it'll tell you your Twitter status. So right now rate limit is exceeded just because I've had so many Twitter applications open, but I really like that. And if you click what does this mean, it'll explain it to you. So it tells you what all these terms mean, and that's really useful. TweetDeck hasn't ever crashed on me or anything like that. Bluebird crashes on me often, or it'll freeze up. It doesn't as much anymore, but there's updates a lot, and that's the risk you take when you download a very new application. I think it's still in beta. It seems to me that no one ever has any issues with Twirl. This application is probably perfect as far as performance goes. Considering that Beak is still in beta, and it's like the early stages of beta, I think that it's excellent for performance. Leave a comment with what Twitter client you use. I know there are others. I'm going to list a whole bunch in the description. I had 11 at first that I was going to include in the video, but that would make it way too long. So go ahead and put what Twitter client you use, what you like about it, what you don't. I like when you guys participate by commenting on my videos.